I generally catch up with him with the tail on when he goes along the pitch coast. That's one of the highlights.
New build team Donington Park number 55. So we're getting the revs starting to rise then on the starting lineup. The red lights, as you can see, have gone on, and 15 minutes of racing gets underway now. Then this packed grid of Formula Fords heads towards Redgate Corner for the first time, and Jordan Dempsey will hold on to the advantage. Colin Queen slips into his slipstream behind, with Niall Murray, the silver car, pulling to the outside line into Redgate to try and move into second place. That's not quite going to work though, and he has to eventually turn across the nose there of the fourth place car to make sure that he retains that top three position. Down through Hollywood then for the first time towards the fearsome Craner curves. This really daunting left-hander on cold tyres especially. This is a sketchy bit of racetrack, and you can see the cars sliding their way now through the old hairpin. Jordan Dempsey looked as though he was running a bit wide. Now someone in that lead group has kicked up the dust. Was that, I wonder, the race leader? It must have been, because he's not the race leader anymore. It's Colin Queen who leads the pack, with Niall Murray second, and in fact not even inside the top 3 or 4. There's Dempsey with damage. Jordan Dempsey, the championship leader, with broken left front suspension. Already halfway round the first lap, the number 3 car is in trouble, and well, it's just as well that he's got this good championship lead now, because a non-finish is not necessarily the end of the world. But there you can see him limping through Coppice Corner, broken left front suspension. Didn't see exactly where he picked that up, but it looked like he'd run wide coming through the old hairpin, and that had potentially led to contact further around the circuit with who I don't know, but it has clearly taken him out of the race. 1 or 2 bouncing through the dirt, through the chicane. In fact, there's one car, one of the Oldfield cars, in the gravel trap, 69 that was, and that's Brandon McGorgan, who has gone through the gravel and did well, actually, to dig himself out of there. 1 or 2 others towards the back of the pack starting to find trouble as well as they disappear from view. The leaders come back into the Goddard's hairpin for the first time, and I promised you a lively race, and already the first lap is delivering the liveliness in spades. The leading quartet making a bit of a break then. It's Queen who leads the way. Murray is second. Lucas Romanek in third, having started sixth on the grid. And he is all out of shape into Redgate corner. A big lockup, runs out wide. And that could allow Sean Rashid up the inside. Sean Rashid is that second of the Ammonite cars in that lead pack. But he didn't quite manage to get up the inside. Fifth position then is JB Sharp, winner of the Formula Ford Festival last season. Except he's not anymore, is he? Because that's not going to follow in another one of the Untitled Motorsport cars who has managed to come through. Now, within the Northern and Super Classic contingent, let's see if we can pick out the class leaders there. It looks like it's still Callum Grant, number 143, who has got the lead in that category. He's running 16th overall. Second in class, Andrew Schofield, and third for number 13, John Murphy. So Gareth Buckingham, the one who has dropped down the order by a couple of positions in the early running. Leaders then up through Coppice Corner, or the pro category anyway, within the National Championship, and somebody's off in the gravel and sideways and pointing the wrong way. Briefly, a full 360 though, and eventually that is Bryn Kinch manages to get his car pointing the right way again. What is going on? It's perfect track conditions out there. It's bright and sunny, but not too hot, not too cold. They should have ample grip, and yet we're getting cars slipping and sliding off the road left, right and centre. There goes the number 31 car through the chicane. That's the Gareth Buckingham car, who I mentioned had dropped down the order slightly within the Northern and Super Classic Formula Ford ranks. The leaders come out of the Goddard's hairpin. I can see out of the window some marshals. That'll be why. Marshals running towards a car. That's Jordan Dempsey, I think, isn't it? Who is stationary on the exit of Goddard's hairpin. So he has not quite managed to limp back to the pit lane. Meanwhile, Niall Murray has got the race lead now. So we've got our third different leader of the race already, and we're only at the start of lap number 3. Niall Murray leading, Colin Queen down to second. Sean Rashid also got the better of Lucas Romanek on that lap, and the third of the Ammonite Motorsport cars, Andre Lafont, is closing in too. So these Ammonite cars do look rapid, but it is the Team Dolan Van Diemen, 2022 spec Van Diemen of Niall Murray, that leads the way. Somebody else is off now. In fact, a few of them running wide there, coming out of the old hairpin. Joey Foster, that was, in the dark green car that we saw dipping two wheels onto the grass. He's up into 6th place now, having started down in 9th. But you can always count on Joey Foster and all that green machine to make some progress. Behind him, Jamie Sharp and Rory Smith are side by side. Those two have had many good battles over the years in National Formula Fords, and they're having another good one here at Donington Park. But Jamie Sharp on the outside line, runs out of road. He's on the grass, he's sideways in front of a group of cars, spins back across the road to the right-hand side of shot, and there he is, off onto the grass. So Jamie Sharp, the latest to fall off the track up at Coppice Corner. Popular place to have a spin already today, isn't it? He rejoins, but a long, long way down the order. So there's something in the water, I think, at Donington Park. We've had a few very interesting qualifying sessions earlier on today for our various categories that have given us some very jumbled up grids, and we're getting a very jumbled up race here to kickstart the weekend. Murray leads them, second for Queen, Sean Rashid in third position. Now, Sean Rashid, has he had a podium yet this year? I'm not convinced that he has. No, I don't think he has. So Sean Rashid in that third position, running really strongly here at Donington Park, perhaps on course to get his first podium. There is, now is that Jordan Dempsey? Jordan Dempsey in front of me, sure. That car has all four wheels pointing in very much the right direction, but anyway, they get out of the way. It's one of the Kevin Mills Spectrums, and that car going a lap down. It might be, Jordan Dempsey is not shown as being in the pit, so he's got stayed on the side of the track. That is Jordan Dempsey, so, okay. Answers on a postcard then as to how they got that car back out there so quickly, because that looked like it was going to be his race done for sure, but he has managed to get into the pit lane, get back out of the pit lane, and get back onto the track. So the number 3 car then lives on, and of course he's a couple of laps down, but if he can finish the race, he's at least not registered as a finisher, clearly, and is therefore able to start a bit further up the grid for the race later on in the weekend, and perhaps pick up a point or two as well. Right. Dare I say it, it's been a lap since someone threw themselves at the scenery. I'm sure there's more drama to come in this race, but what we do have is a three-way fight for the race lead heading onto the GP loop. There goes number 22 car, Vincent J, through the top end of the circuit. Vincent J is running 20th overall. Directly ahead of him is the number 13, John Murphy. John Murphy, one of our front runners in the Northern and Super Classic element of the race. He is second within Super Classic A, both the National and Northern and Super Classic parts of the grid are split into their own sub-classes. It all gets a little bit confusing, particularly with the Northern Super Classic grid, where there are a total of 3 different classes: Super Classic A, Super Classic B, Super Classic C. In fact, we do have a Super Classic D car for the 1960s performance. DL2B for Nelson into the race as well. So 4 different classes there. Class A being led by Callum Grant, Class B by Schofield. Andrew Schofield, who runs 2nd overall within the Super Classics, if you're following what I'm saying. Class C led also, excuse me, by Doug Crosby, 13th overall. Class D, actually by the other class, 20, also running in Super Classic D, and is leading that class outside of the top 30 overall. Any of that made sense, I'd be amazed. Anyway, let's focus instead on what does make sense, which is a 4-way fight for the race lead. And the Ammonite Motorsport driver starting to gang up now. Off the road has gone number 68. That is one of our Super Classic winners, Richard Frey, 1988 Reynard. But yes, these Ammonite Motorsport drivers, now you get the sense, are going to gang up on Niall Murray. Because Murray, the Team Dolan driver, leads the way, and he's got these 3 teammates behind, except actually the teammates racing each other, and that is Sean Rashid looking up the inside of Colin Queen through the chicane, where surely there were yellow flags because of Richard Frey's car stuck in the gravel and up against the wall. It may have made some slight contact with barriers there, so that won't go down terribly well. The overtake didn't happen in the end, but not only did Sean decide to try and pass his teammate rather than work with his teammate, he tried to clear the yellow flag zone, which is always frowned upon. 31 there making its way down the back straight. That's Gareth Buckingham again, dicing away there with Bryn Kinch, the recovering Bryn Kinch. Remember, he was one of many drivers to trip over themselves at Coppice in the early running. We've got 6.5 minutes of this very entertaining race still to go, and Niall Murray on that lap building up a bit of a gap because the 2 Ammonite teammates went side by side through the chicane. Again, the positions didn't change, thankfully, but they did look real to me, and that delayed them to the tune of about 3/4 of a second, because that's the advantage that Niall had at the end of that lap. Queen 2nd, Rashid 3rd, Lafont 4th, and a gap back to Lucas Romanek at 1.1 seconds. Now, it's worth pointing out that Queen is 2nd in the points, and could Dempsey will be on him. As we've said, Ryan Jordan having more of the rotten look that he's had in this race through each of the remaining races this season. This weekend, indeed, all 3 races this weekend, making the final round of the Tyres National 1600 Championship. Dempsey, the pressure a little bit perhaps. Colin Queen could do with trying to get a race win, all the more reason you would assume for his teammates to work with him. He has broken away from Rashid slightly on this lap and appears to be closing back in on Niall Murray. Yeah, well, he has closed right back in on Niall Murray. They're nose to tail as they turn into the chicane. Slippery surface flag out. I think that's going to be a near constant presence at the chicane this weekend, and you can see why, because they're not really making much of an attempt to stay within track limits through there. And the same applies to pretty much all of the classes racing here this weekend. And that is certainly going to become a treacherous bit of racetrack. Guess what? Someone just ran wide at Coppice Corner. I'm going to be saying that a lot as well, I think, throughout the course of the next day and a half. Lots of people struggling with that tricky off-cambered right-hander at the top end of the circuit. Very easy to run wide there. It's a blind corner. The car goes right over the crest, and if you carry a bit too much speed in, then that really, really will send you out wide. And that looks a bit like it can't be Rory Smith going slowly. It's one of his teammates, I think, in the white and red car. It is, yes, the number 17 of Tom McArthur. Been, yes, it is Tom McArthur, who's been in the pit lane earlier on in the race, I noticed. Leaders down the Crater curves, 4.5 minutes to go, and well, Colin Queen having caught back up to Niall Murray. Now needs to try and figure out a way of getting past. He wants to do it quickly as well before his teammates arrive back on his gearbox. Niall has just set, Colin has just set the fastest lap of the race as well, a 1:39.742, and he draws level with Niall Murray up through Schwantz curve. That's the outside for McLean's though, and this is the risk. If he's not confident that Sean Rashid is going to work with him, he won't want to leave that inside line open for his teammate. Sean has closed right back in, and of course you can understand Sean's perspective here. This is by far the best he's run all season, and he wants to try and win the race as well. So if it's already been decided amongst the team that Colin isn't going to beat Jordan Dempsey in the championship, then I guess it might be a free-for-all between the Ammonite drivers. Side by side again for the lead into the chicane. Niall Murray defends the inside. Now that's going to slow down on the exit though, and you can see there the run that Colin Queen had on the exit. I reckon the next time we see them, there might have been a change. Another car running wide there through Coppice Corner. A lot further down the order this, but so you can see some of the historic cars running within the Super Classic Class C category. That will be getting involved in that scuffle. Now, who is going to emerge over the hill here into Goddard's as the race leader? Is it Niall Murray? Is it Colin Queen? Is it Sean Rashid? It's kind of all three of them. But Murray on the inside line hangs on. Colin Queen in danger now of being hooked out to dry by his teammate there as they come out of Goddard's. But no, Sean ducks back in the slipstream. They weave, and that is the checkered flag. That is the checkered flag 3 minutes too early. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but the checkered flag has been thrown, and I don't think that the drivers have noticed. I certainly wasn't expecting that, but they've thrown the checkered several minutes too early, I guess because of a car in a precarious position that they're not happy about. It could be the Richard Frey car, I guess, at the chicane, although that's been there for a few laps, so not entirely sure why the checkered flag has come out early, but it has. So Niall Murray gets himself the race victory. Colin Queen in second position, third Sean Rashid, fourth for Andre Lafont, with Lucas Romanek rounding out the top five. Rory Smith was sixth, seventh Joey Foster. Michael Eastwell, didn't mention him in that race, but he finished in eighth position ahead of Morgan Quinn, and the top 10 completed by Tom Nippers in the 189. As for Super Classics, it's a dominant victory, both overall within Super Classic Formula Ford and within Class A as well of the Super Classics for number 143 Callum Grant. He finished a very impressive 13th overall. Bear in mind, there were 19 starters within national ranks, and he beat a good number of those. Second place within Super Classics, and also a Class B winner, was Andrew Schofield, who finished 17th overall. Class C won by Doug Crosby, 54 and 28th overall. Class D was won by number 55 of Roger Arnold. Right, we're now getting red flags being thrown because I don't think some drivers were not getting the message about the checkered flag. So the red flag going out just to make absolutely certain. But yes, the leading contenders have realised what's going on because they're pulling into the pit lane and down towards Park Ferme they will head. But an unfortunate end to what had been a very entertaining race. And Niall Murray on his return to the championship, I think his first race with us this season. I don't think we've seen Niall out at any of the other National Formula Ford rounds this year, but he has come back on form and has managed to grab himself a race win. Right, I believe that momentarily those drivers will be joining Scott Woodwis, who is down in the pit lane. You can see the drivers are pulled in just underneath our commentary position, and down there somewhere amongst it all is Scott Woodwis. Scott, good afternoon.
Yeah. So, hello everybody. Apologies for the small issue we had in the beginning, a bit of a network issue that we managed to thankfully fix, so we'll take a look at that over the lunch break. But an intense National Formula Ford race as expected, and winner of course is just right here, someone who's no stranger to winning in Formula Fords many a time. So have a quick chat with Niall Murray. Welcome back, it's like you've never been away.
Yeah, no, it was good. I didn't really have the pace there. I think Colin was just waiting behind me, to be honest, because he still got maximum points there. So yeah, no, look, it's good. Good to come here and get the win. Qualified third, it messed up my lap in qualifying. So yeah, no, it's good. It's a new car to us as well. And as most people know, unfortunately, Bernard's workshop got burnt down a few months ago, so lost the car his car that I was using. So thankfully, a good friend of mine, Andy O'Brien, loaned us his car. So yeah, it's great to come out in a different car and still be winning.
So you jumped in straight away, and it must fit like a glove.
Yeah, there's a few late nights last week, if you ask Sam and Bernard. But yeah, no, look, it's there now. It's on the pace. So just a few little tweaks now for tomorrow, and we'll see how we go. And
of course, this weekend is obviously prep for the big one next month, which is the festival and the World Tires on top of that. So keep on the good form, and you might be in with a shout again. Yeah,
that's the plan. Unfortunately, I can't do the Walter Hayes, but yeah, this round on the festival is really what it's all about. So yeah, we'll see how we get on.
It's great to have you back. Well done. We'll see you tomorrow. Right, second and third for our two Ammonite Motorsport drivers. Have a quick chat with our man in second place. He should be over here at least. Chat to Colin Queen. So see if we can find Sean Rashid, who has disappeared. Ah, here he is. Just here. Just have a chat with Sean in a second. Sean, excellent drive to third. You're getting steadily quicker and quicker so far as the season's gone. You've been really impressive so far.
Yeah, thanks. I've been putting in so much hard work just every day. day, and I just knew if I kept doing it every day, by the end of the season I'd be up here with the front, and it just feels really, really good for all the hard work to be paying off, and to be with all these amazing drivers up here is a really good feeling.
But fantastic, because you're part of the Rookie Cup and it's your rookie season Formula Ford, so to be able to pull some of the results that you have already towards the end of the season, you've made, as you say, you've made massive strides from where you started this year. Yeah, it's I'm just super blessed, honestly. I thank God so much for keeping me safe, everyone else safe, and just keeping the belief that I just got to keep going, and I never, in my head I was never like, oh, I'm a rookie, so I have a disadvantage. I always tell myself that I can be up there with everyone, and I think that mentality has really helped me a lot. Excellent. Well, you've driven superb, so well done. Congratulations on third. We'll see you for second place, second there is tomorrow. I'll jump in a second to have a chat with Colin Quinn. Of course, well done to Callum Grant as well, of course, who won the Northern Super Classic segment of that race. They have one more race tomorrow on the combined grid with the Nationals, and then it will just be the national drivers for their third race of the weekend coming up. We're just going to a lunch break, just for those who want to know. Coming up, we've got two more races, sprint races, before we go towards our main event today, which is the 4 Hours of Fun Cup. Let's bring Colin Quinn in for second place. Colin, I think that was pretty much the best result you could have hoped for. You take maximum points in terms of the race win. Jordan, unfortunately, fell off in terms of having some issues at the beginning of the race, so essentially it's just good points to at least keep second place solid.
Right, no, it definitely shakes things up for the championship battle, but I didn't realize that the checkered flag came out that lap. I saw 3 minutes on the pit board, but it's pretty unfortunate that we didn't get the actual win, but I'm glad we got all the points needed. It was a good fight. I think we did have a lot more pace in that race, but things happened, and I hope we can just get the next 2 wins and go on from there, see how things go.
Of course, it's great to be up there battling with someone like Niall, who is established in these sort of British Isles, as someone who's a modern day sort of legend of Formula 4. To be able to be up there battling with him at the front, that must be pretty satisfying to be on his pace.
Right, yeah, no, it's pretty impressive. It was, qualifying, he qualified for third, and only a couple tenths off of us, and that's really impressive. Mad respect for him. And I raced with him last year at SNET, and had some good battles with him, and it's good to see him back here, and shaking things up at the front.
Great stuff. Well, you've got 2 more races tomorrow, so we'll see what you can do, but well done on the second. Maximum points, of course, as the points for the win, technically, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
Good stuff. So that's our first race of the weekend done so far. As I say, 2 more races coming up before our main event today, which is the penultimate round of the Fun Cup Endurance Championship. 4-hour race coming up. That'll be Andy and myself on comms for that. But coming up after the break, we've got 2 more Mazda races. The first of 2 Mazda races for the weekend. One for the Mazda MX-5 Championship, then a small break for qualifying for the British SuperKart Championship for their final championship rounds and the SuperKart Grand Prix. And then we have the Mazda MX-5 SuperCup, which have their first race of the weekend. And then we get into Fun Cup for the rest of the afternoon. So enjoy the break, and we'll be back in roughly about sort of an hour or so's time for more racing here at Donington Park for the British Racing and Sports Car Clubs. Until then, we'll see you after lunch in about an hour's time.